Hi everyone, as Dean said, Ben Fielding from Blucando. We're what we'd like to think of as the antidote to managed service providers. We're not, you have to buy everything we sell you. Very different approach. We are your IT department. We help you manage risk. We help you provide support to your team and just get IT right. I think we're a palate cleanser today because there's been quite a lot about data and CRM and email automation, marketing automation. There's going to be some more of that again. Just take a big step back right to the core of your business, the devices you use, the data you store, the access you give to systems. And why have I got this up on the slide here? Because actually getting that stuff right helps you protect your brand, secures your business, and attracts all of this stuff. And this is the big important one here, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't be in the room here today unless you wanted to make more money. You get IT right, and it can help. This is last year. This is what happened globally in businesses last year. Right. We've seen a lot of evolution in IT, and I mean, hands up who's still running servers in their business. The odd one, Chris. Yeah. Getting there. We're getting rid of them. That's one of the biggest risks in business has been managing operating systems on servers. And this is the scary part that you really need to think about. Right. So nearly 20% of cybersecurity incidents were through supply chain attacks. So hands up if you've had a supplier assessment form or request for filling in lots of difficult questions about how you look after IT. You had that from client? You've had that from clients? Must have done? Yeah. They're really dry, really boring, and generally they're a bit kind of, one size fits all. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect their systems against you. They're trying to make sure you're not the weak link in their chain. Now, you're processing a lot of personal information, you're passing lots of details over, you're hammering them with emails. Potentially more than that, you're putting people into their business. So it's really important for your clients that you get IT security right. Stats as we go into 2023, you all want to grow your business, none of you want to waste your money, and as of today, might go up a little bit after a conversation I had a little while ago, 25% of you had some kind of help from Blucando in getting your IT right. Try and make it 30 by the end of the day, I'll be really happy. My business partner will smile. So when we talk about protecting your brand, what are we talking about here? You need to give your clients confidence that you take IT seriously, that you take IT security, it's in the core of your business. You're careful about what it is you're doing, right? Getting some kind of certification really helps. Starting off somewhere like Cyber Essentials. It's going to cost you between £300 and £600 a year for a self-certificated process you go through. You have to evidence that we've got the right policies, procedures, and we've got some sensible controls in place. Maybe up to Cyber Essentials Plus. It's going to cost you £2 or £3 grand a year. Harder to get through. You get audited. Going all the way up to your ISO 27001, which is, open your checkbook and don't look. Avoiding the ICO, right? It's don't have them knocking on your door saying, you have had data stolen. We have found your database online. It has been reported to us, you have lost all these candidates' data, all these clients' data. You really can't afford for that focus to be on you. Now, if you can demonstrate, I've done everything sensibly to protect my data, and something really crazy, like Intel got hacked 5 years ago, and code was on Intel chips, so they had to go out and send out new firmware updates on Intel chips. They were in data centers, right? I can't remember which one it was, China or Russia, but apparently one of the two. But if you've done everything that is sensible, then the IC are going to go, do you know what, you did everything you could, that's fine, but still you're going to be branded with that. Don't let that happen in the first place. Email reputation. I could stand up here for 4 hours and talk about email and DNS and delivery and content and domain reputation. And working with companies like Force24, we help people get the technical elements of their domain right. If you're going to deploy a new email marketing tool, you're going to use a Force24 or I'll swear and say MailChimp or whatever it is you're using. There's stuff you've got to do at the back end to make sure that your domain is allowed to send those emails. And then making sure the content is right, that the links are what they're supposed to be doing, that you don't look like a spammer. As soon as you look like you're spamming people or phishing people by rewriting what's called rewriting URLs, go to our website, but actually, and it says www.yourwebsite.com, but then the link is your long marketing link. That's a rewritten URL. Spammers, all the spam filters are going to start to push you down the stack. Again, I'm not going to go too much about ditching cold data, but clean lists of data. The phrase earlier on was used of spam traps. Does anyone know what that is? No, okay. So a spam trap is companies put out their email addresses on websites, and the website exists purely to be scraped. And then for that email address to sit in a list of scraped data, and then those email filtering solutions seeing that email being emailed and going, yeah, right, I know where you got your data, you're dodgy as hell, you've been scraping data, I'm going to blacklist you. So buying these big chunks of data, and yeah, old email addresses get used up. Microsoft uses this all the time, and Google as well. Emails that have laid dormant for years, they go, right, I'm claiming that back, thank you very much, I'm not going to delete the email, I'm going to use that as a spam trap. So you need to be really careful about the data you're using. This is a really interesting trick. Knowing if you've had your database hacked is really tricky. One thing you can do is you can, what we call honeypot your database. You can put records in of email addresses that you own that aren't real. And then you know if anyone ever emails that email address and you see that appear in that inbox, you know someone's got hold of your database.
We did that at S3.
Yeah.
So all the directors had to have loads and loads of emails there. So if suddenly you start getting emails from competitive agencies, you know who left and nicked your data and we sued them.
Yep. So yeah, you know it's there. Sometimes you might have records where you've just said, right, only that agent has that record and only they can see that. So again, you can bring it down to, is it someone in my business that's stealing data, or is it someone externally that's got into my system and got hold of data? Domains are really important. Being bad by association. So I know a few people that have gone, great, .io and .ai are getting popular. I really wanted to buy Coca-Cola.com, but Coca-Cola.io, brilliant. I'm going to go and buy that domain because that one's going to cost you a bit more money, but it's cheaper than buying Coca-Cola.com. But then let's say Coca-Cola.com's got a really bad sending reputation and they're being used for spamming all the time. You're going to get tarred with that same brush potentially as well, because they're going to, the algorithms at Microsoft, and we're talking primarily about candidates you're emailing, but Microsoft and Google are really good at figuring out what you're up to. And while they're bad, you're probably the same company, right? Algorithm says, I'm going to trust you less. So thinking about the domains you own, domains you're buying, and there are ways of looking up domain reputation of other people's domains. Planning new brands, if you're going to launch a new domain, don't do what happened to us 3 weeks ago. I bought a new domain yesterday. I need it live tomorrow because I'm sending out 50,000 CVs the day after. No thanks. No, we can't do that. We've got to warm this up. If you're going to be launching a new brand, you need to be making a decision about that domain name months before you're looking at a sustained campaign. You need to be building up a reputation, having a website, having link backs online. From a web perspective, having a good reputation, and then leading on to how you're going to deal with it with email and warming that stuff up. There are warm-up email services out there you can buy. They're okay, you get what you pay for. You can't beat emailing all your mates and all your mates' mates and getting them to reply back or click the link or respond or mark as not junk. That stuff's really useful, it costs you nothing. Bit of goodwill, maybe a beer every now and again. So that's about just protecting your brand. That's about making sure that your brand, from your customer's perspective, you're reputable. From the ICO's perspective, you're a good player. And from an online perspective, and getting emails into inboxes and your website as well, and affects social stuff as well, that you're behaving correctly. I've a lot of conversations with business owners who said, I just don't get IT. I don't understand anything you just told me. Fucking learn it, right? This is your business, take it seriously, understand what's going on, and make effective change in your business, okay? I cannot have conversation with business owners anymore. So everything you just said, and I've said it as in a human being speak as possible, email delivery, domain, one way out, and they go, just needs to fucking work, Ben. I'm like, I know, but here's the rules. Here's the things that we've got to be doing. Beyond that, it's about taking IT security seriously. It's encrypted hard drives on your laptops, controlling the logins, making sure you shut down accounts when people leave, right? It's taking this stuff seriously, because this stuff can affect your business. A lot of people in the past have seen IT as I've got to have antivirus, and I've got to have a spam filter, and I should probably do this stuff. Okay, I need to do this, and I need to make sure I'm choosing the right solution. And that's what we help clients do, right? Cut through all the crap and say, these are the products that work. Cyber resilience, again, we help clients with this a lot, but I really just want everyone to have a mature approach to this. It's, what do I do when it goes wrong? I think I heard Gary mention something a couple of years ago, is know what failure feels like. Because if you know what failure or disaster or some kind of breach or whatever it is, if you know what that feels like, you know how to respond. You're not going to respond emotionally at the time. You're going to, right, this has happened. This is what we do. This is my plan. This is how I recover my business. But not going, hell for leather. I'm going to spend £1,000 a head on some crazy AI antivirus solution with a monitoring team in the US, and I'm going to back up everything every second of every day. Well, that's not appropriate for every business. It might be, but it's about just trying to find the right balance, but knowing what to do when things go wrong. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at securing your business. Think of your house. You locked all your doors, you double locked all your windows, you've hidden away your keys, you put your car key on one of those little scanning things, everything. You go on holiday and your house has been broken into. How do they get? Well, they lifted the roof tiles up and got through the felt. People will find a way if they really want to get into your business. So at some point in your journey, something's going to go wrong. So know how you're going to respond when it does. I'll slow down a little bit, get a bit excited about this stuff.
Theft and robbery.
Yeah. Data protection, right? Everyone wants your data. It's worth so much money. People that work for you that want to set up their own business. All right, honest, genuinely, no one's going to judge you for this. Put your hand up if you set up your business of data you stole from somewhere you used to work. Come on. I know there's at least 3 people in the room. At least. Everyone gathered those clients, those relationships, the potentially candidates down to that as well. Even if it's the fact that you connected all these people on LinkedIn for 5 years, set up your own business, you're like, well, that's my data. I've taken all that LinkedIn information. The weak points in your business when it comes to protecting your data generally is people, the people you hire. So you need to train people on their responsibilities of protecting data. You need to have the right processes in place and the relevant protection, whether you're monitoring what people are doing or you've got ways of capturing people. Other big stuff this year, so get rid of the servers. Servers have got to go, right? It's all dead. Software as a service all the way. Outsource the worry of managing those servers. That's now Microsoft's responsibility. It's Force 24 probably sat on AWS or Azure or something. But they're managing that, right? Someone else is doing that for you. It's scalable and it's available, right? You want to scale up your business? Dependable cloud services that you know that you can just turn up the dial. Now, one of our clients last year said, right, I'm going from 40 to 90 heads in 12 weeks. What do I need to do? Well, you just need to give us the names and off we go. The hardest bit was finding the laptops. Everything else is just creating accounts and spinning things up. Away we go. And there's no capacity challenges because you've got servers restricting your kind of space. Controlling your data from a mobile perspective, so when it comes to cyber essentials, going back to that accreditation part up here, cyber essentials, the easiest one to achieve, the new section that's getting everyone this year is, how do you protect your company data on people's personal mobile phones? So have you just got a policy that says, don't do it? Or if you do it, can you make sure you've got a PIN code, please? Or do you start to enforce this stuff, like using stuff like Microsoft 365, mobile device management, Microsoft Intune, and controlling that data? When someone leaves, you press a button, tears your data off. Their phone's not up to the latest operating system version, they can't access their email. It's becoming one of the biggest problems in business is data on people's personal devices. We were having a chat earlier on about data sprawl, all these different applications. We've tried this, we've tried this, we've tried that, we've plugged this in, we've integrated here. You've now got multiple copies of your database on multiple systems, some of which you might forget about because it was £7 a month and you're just letting that direct debit ride. The password might have been password because you were just trying it out. So it's keeping track of where all your data is, all the systems you're using, and keeping it controlled, and retiring these old systems so you don't have this data leakage happening. And as I said before, people are your biggest problem in your business when it comes to protecting your brand, protecting your business. So you need to train your staff on how to protect you, how to spot a phishing email, how to know when there's kind of social engineering happening around them, how to know when they've fallen for a scam, and being okay with putting their hand up when I think I gave a password away. Right, just saying it's okay to do that. And there's tools and things you can do to automate and test and train. We've been doing some great stuff with a couple of clients recently that you failed the tests, you clicked the link, right, you now have to do this compulsory training course, it's 10 minutes, right, off you go. Right? But again, you can evidence to your clients that you're taking this stuff seriously, that your staff are trained. So how does this attract more clients, right? Again, you're giving them confidence, you're demonstrating a mature approach to protecting their data. Again, you're not on that blacklist. And go and look for your competitors on the ICO website, they probably are there. And again, attracting more clients is getting into those inboxes. I mean, Force 24 from a structure perspective and from a journey perspective, and the marketing companies helping you with that messaging, but getting back down to making sure technically there's no problems there as well. If you can get all that right, you're going to attract more clients. Attract more staff. Have the right kit. Hold on, they're starting on Monday. Oh, hold on. Sellotape holding that screen on that laptop. It's an old Pentium whatever with 4 gig of RAM. It takes 10 minutes to boot up. That's not going to work anymore. People are used to smartphones. Press a button, it works, right? So get the right kit for people. Give people the tools they need, but don't let them drive you too much. Again, we were having a chat about the recruiters that come in and say, oh, I need this, this, and this to succeed. So honestly, you should need a piece of paper and a phone to succeed. Let's just make sure, though, we've got the right tools to support that journey and make them really efficient. But making sure that ROI's got to be right. Again, dependable equipment, looking at when it's coming end of life, buying the right equipment at the right time, refreshing that equipment, what's the latest, greatest. Getting everything ready on day one. How much are you paying these guys? And they sit there for 3 days on a desk watching someone else because the laptop's not ready, or they haven't got the log on to Vincere yet, or they haven't got the cloud call, or 8x8, or whatever it is for a phone. It's just not ready. That's insane. It's not hard to get this stuff ready, right? It's just the stuff, again, all this is the stuff you need to be focusing on. The right tools for the right job, and I should have said at the right time, getting this stuff out there. This is all going to drive more money, right? This is all about getting this right. It's about protecting your brand, securing your business, confident clients, happy staff, big dollar bills. So this is the stuff for whether you want to work with us or not, right? Get this stuff right. It's really, really important that you take an interest in this and you get IT right in your business. You're not going to grow, or you're not going to survive if you do grow, if you don't get this stuff right. We've just onboarded a client recently, 80 seats. So what's your number one worry? One of our biggest competitors got hit last year. That cannot be me, because it decimated their business. Now they're doing well out of their biggest competitor being hit and not being able to respond as well as they can. But he said, I can't be the next one. That cannot be me, because or else I'm out. Millions of pounds disappearing down the drain. So, I'm exhausted. Right. Any questions, queries?
Of course I've got one. It's what I do. I live there, dream about it. Can we just delve slightly into this whole thing about warming up, best practice, how you're getting our lovely friends at Hamilton Bradshaw doing 65,000 emails a month, using 365? I mean, is there common best practice that we can adopt? Because we've been talking about instantly this morning. We've talked about using remote teams. How many servers should they be on? Are we overcomplicating something that is relatively simple to do? Because, like a 17-year-old who's very horny, I know just enough to get myself in trouble. Do you know what? I've had that in my back pocket. I was desperate to use it.
So I think I'm going to kind of put some words in a marketeer's mouth, right? Marketing should be as simple messaging as possible. You shouldn't drown people or complicate people with messaging. And the same comes with your email marketing. If you send someone a bunch of pictures and diagrams and percentages and another big paragraph and 17 places to click, right, call to action on an email is important. There probably should be one thing they should be clicking when you're sending marketing messages to people, or even to candidates. Got this great job. If you want to click here, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
physically,
but more
and more.
So the content's key, and people will go content, and making sure that technically you're not hitting any spam filters. But so take Vincere for example. I know that what you can do in Vincere is if I'm going to send out less than less than 10 emails out with I've got a candidate, I'm going to send it to 10 clients. It will go out. Plugged into Microsoft 365, it would just go out your 365 mailbox. Anything over that, you can configure it to go, right, use SendGrid. Massive email platform that can send out, right, I'm going to send out 4,000. off it goes. And SendGrid will sensibly just kind of stagger those messages out and trickle them out and make sure that they're not all just hitting these big platforms at once. So what I hear people saying is, I don't think I should use my primary domain in case I do something wrong. So, well, get it right then. Make sure you're confident that technically you're not breaking the rules when it comes to things like SPF, which is basically these are the systems that are trusted to send as my domain. It's a list on your domain. No one else can send as me. You get that right. The next level down is something called DKIM, which sometimes they call email authentication. It's basically like an encryption key. I'm definitely allowed to send that email for that domain. And then something called
You've gone into Portuguese.
Yeah.
So I've got 5 people now in India who I want to do spec in CVs. I give them a CV. I give them 30 CVs a week, and I want to spec them to 300 people each. How do I do it?
So if you've got your system tuned right, there's no reason you can't do that from your standard email platform. There's no reason why. So Hamilton Barnes is a great example. 65,000 messages a week that just go out of 365. And they've got a 1% reported a spam rate. And their domain reputation is 100% and has been for...
And how did they warm up their emails to make that work? Is it just the fact that they've had a domain for a long period of time?
We were really worried about 3.5 years ago when they were on .co.uk and they wanted to switch their .com domain. The first thing was, how long have you owned that .com domain? Oh, we've had that for 3-4 years. All right, okay. And it's got a redirect on your website. Yeah, we've had it for ages. That domain isn't newly registered. I did say to them, when we're going to make the switch, you can't carry on at the rate you are. You're going to have to slow down and trickle it out. So don't send that CV out to 2,000, or send that opportunity out to 2,000 candidates. Maybe send it out to 50 or 100. Let's just kind of warm this up and let's keep an eye on what's going on the domain. So we do delivery tests. So we're making sure we've got like pre-seeded mailboxes we can go in. It's like Mail Tester, if anyone's used that, but it's on steroids. So we can see what Outlook, Google, Yahoo, AOL, all these other different platforms, what they think, 365, G Suite, everything, Google Workspace. And we're pulling that data back. There's things like sender score, domain reputation, and all this stuff we can do just to prove it's working. And then you just got to start turning the dial up. None of that means anything, though, if you're sending shit and people are just marking it as spam manually and deleting it.
I don't think that's the problem. I really think it's just physically people are nervy. Would you be as willing, and we won't hold you accountable, and no one's going to sue you, could you come up with best practice, just a one-pager on the things you might want to do? If you want to turn the volume up to here, these are the steps you follow, these are the things not to fall foul of, and physically, and what tools you would say would add value to that process.
Yeah.
On the basis that I give you every RDLC member, you can have an opportunity to lift the bonnet and have a look at their engine and see if you can do something.
And there's 3 of us in the room that will work on that together. I know. So me, Kamal, and the guys at Force 24.
All right, that'd be gold. Yeah. But that would see very well. That'd be gold.